Sorry about this being so late, but if we know anything about what Mackenzie means, it's a duo-Malian for late to the party, so let's just get right to it. We should start this by saying this list is really just my personal feelings on comics that I enjoyed throughout the year. When it comes to who had better art, or dialogue, or story structure, arguments can be made for several series because, well, you know, subjective. So please understand, this list is subjective all on its own. You probably won't like some of these, or feel I've forgotten something, or may believe I'm hyping these beyond what you feel they should be. That's fine, that's life. Feel free to let me know what you would have rather seen here. I should also add that even though this is a list and people tend to view lists as what I like from least to most, this list really doesn't quite work that way. I really love these series, and there's some that I definitely appreciate more than others, but I find that they always move around on this scale, so please take this with a grain of salt. Don't look at them and say, oh, I can't believe he liked this one more than the other one. Alright, we're all comic fans here, let's just learn to enjoy it. So without further ado, let's get high and start with the best comic runs of the year for the Superhero Fair 2018. We start with the Exiles, a new relaunch of the old Exiles comic continuing in the vein of its predecessor. Exiles is a funky little series about a group of extra-dimensional alloys who may or may not want to be grouped up to face the myriad of problems facing other dimensions to keep the multiverse from collapsing. Did I say extra-dimensional alloys? I meant allies. Anyways, the twist in this one is the uncertainty behind the purpose which forces them around and the quick-to-the-jump nature of the series itself. The Unseen launches them into action from the moon, but we are told the Talus and Multiverse act all on its own accord. After a quick team-up with the rest of the core Exiles team, we discover there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than the Exiles bargain for when Watchers show up to try and eliminate them. While the series has always strived to either reach out into the past or create new interpretations whole cloth, this series instead reached out into the movie and franchising game by attracting a version of Valkyrie like the one from Thor Ragnarok and a surprising version of Wolverine. It did keep the what-if types such as Iron Lad if he continued to not be king, sort of, and fulfilled the what-if of, what if the super positive Ms. Marvel we know became a hardened war veteran with Cable-esque type guns? But really, this series is just a jump and a half of fun when it adds other characters like a Peggy Captain America and puts them through the Arabian Nights. Even the first real big bad comes off as a weird extra-dimensional what-if, and that's followed by a bizarre chain of other stories, including a Wild West-inspired Black Panther. And did I mention a bunch of Watchers as enemies? I'm pretty sure I did, but here you go. Which is exactly what this series should be, lighthearted enough to keep the somewhat darker tones in check, but never shy of the odder implications of their existence. This is a great title I always look forward to, and I'm really looking forward to its conclusion. Moving on, we go to DC's Plastic Man. So what happens when you take a super zany writer like Gail Simone with her focus on strong characterization, humor, and odd situations, and give her an even zanier character in Plastic Man? Well, you get one of my favorite comics of the year. A self-contained, tremendously fun, raunchy, flirty, inappropriate, hilarious, and action-packed series that blends spy stories, crime stories, redemption stories, coming-of-age stories, and puts it against the backdrop of a criminal who runs a strip club. Plastic Man must face a very serious threat he isn't quite aware of or even believes in, and show that beneath his buffoonery exists a serious clown who handles things in a way others just don't. Not that they can't, not that they wouldn't be willing to, just that they don't tend to. Because let's face it, Plaz is his own man, and with a cast filled with strippers who both love and hate him, the Prince of Pine Street, Suave Pato Swakatoon, regular criminals whom he hates when they lack skill, and superpower menaces who act behind the scenes to avoid the ire of the Justice League and their ilk, those other heroes wouldn't even know how to handle them or where to begin. Not like our good friend Plaz would. This series must simply be experienced because trying to explain it is truly a task that waters it down. Let me just say that this series is super wang. Third up is Marvel's Rogue and Gambit. One of the X-Men's most iconic couples, and definitely their most on-again, off-again couple, makes a big splash with Kelly Thompson's Rogue and Gambit as the series tackles the tumultuous and heart-rending issue of the intimate relationships and breakups of a mutant who can't touch others and a mutant who loves touching and teasing. Also, the couple might have a long history of breaking up horribly and finding they're still attracted to one another, hence on-again, off-again. These two are sent undercover by the current leader of the X-Men, Shadowcat, and the Southern Belle and Cajun Thief are found investigating a resort which deals with mutant trauma counseling with the cover of also needing additional couples counseling. While they discover the evil behind the scenes which seeks to absorb the pain and powers of mutants, they have a chance to discover the pain and love within themselves to maybe give their love another shot. It's a beautiful miniseries which is truly about the pains, grudges, acceptance, and forgiveness of a relationship, including the honesty necessary to make something like these two work. The comic moves seamlessly as the two discuss their feelings with their sexual tension, their humorous flirting, and heartwarming charm, while the two must confront and understand the pains they inflict, both on themselves and each other, even when they don't know they did that. And I mean it seriously, just check this series out. The humor is there, the action is there, the pain is there, the art is there, it's all there. Maybe the follow-up series isn't as much as a bang whiz as the first one, but I still enjoyed it quite a bit. On fourth base is DC's Hawkman. Hawkman came back with a bang this year. The series reintroduces us to a classic character by leaning into the concept of his legacy and history. Just who is Hawkman? Just what is the purpose of all his lives? Is it the nth metal or something more? And what mystery is beckoning him from beyond the veil of his memory? This journey is one fraught with peril and adventure as Hawkman seeks out not only to understand the warning of destruction for Earth he feels and envisions, but also about himself and his connection to it in the process as he travels from place to place to discover clues left by reincarnations of himself from places he never dreamed of visiting. Every issue reveals to us another incarnation forgotten in the past he has often forgotten entirely about. And I'd love to say more, but any real explanation about this series is too big a spoiler, and I just wouldn't be doing anybody a favor by spilling those beans. I can say the art is well done, and Hawkman's characterization here keeps his rough exterior without flanderizing him into an old curmudgeon. I absolutely love this title, especially that reunion he gets. Please check this series out because you're depriving yourself of a great high-flying superhero action tale if you do. Never mind what you thought might be a silly premise and just enjoy. However, I do have one complaint about this title. If you notice there's a little bit of repetition in my performance here, it's because there's a bit of a repetition in this series as he goes from place to place just to discover another person, to travel to another place to discover another person. But other than that, it is a wonderful title. Fifth, and definitely not least, is Marvel's The Immortal Hulk. What if the Hulk was unkillable? Well, more so than he already is. That's the question Bruce Banner now has to deal with. In this series, which returns to the more horror route to the Hulk, Bruce has come to the realization that the Hulk cannot be destroyed either directly or through him. Even if Bruce is killed, the Hulk just brings him back, and when the Hulk goes away, it leaves a renewed Banner. And they find themselves hiding on a world who thinks both of them dead, and Bruce is now thrust back into the situation of a wanderer who is occasionally being seen by a world who not only thinks him dead, but is terrified of him. But does the Hulk deserve this reputation? Is he truly the mindless savage monster everybody fears him to be? Bruce spends this series in fear of a Hulk who comes out only at night, a smarter, more sinister Hulk unlike any before him. This Hulk looks to punish the wicked in a way only a monster can. And in fact, he is a monster who hunts other monsters. Well, human monsters anyway. This comic deals with the monster in all of us as he comes across people who are truly desperate. Desperate to make ends meet. Desperate to cheat death, even desperate just to get a chance for a rematch with the Hulk. Desperation and clinging on is a central theme in this book as Hulk and Bruce come across people who both revere and fear him and everything he represents. Concepts such as death, destruction, life, and most especially power. In all of it, we are forced to ask, is Hulk truly the biggest monster here? As Bruce and the Hulk travel around, they discover that maybe the Hulk isn't the worst thing around, at least not in a fabric of society sense. And all while talking about a mysterious green door which seeks to open up the Hulk mythos just a tiny bit more. Anyways, this title's just been a breath of fresh air for Hulk fans new and old as old Jade Jaws has a focus on the dichotomy of both Bruce and his other half and what that means for both, how they consider one another and how they approach their problems in life. While one runs, the other chases, but their roles are reversed this time, and it all comes with a spiffy government program to worry about for the Hulk, including victims of his previous rampages, problems of the week, and changes to other characters which I hope just might stick around. So please, if you don't read any other superhero comic this year, please make it that one. Well, 2018, not this year, you know what I meant. Looks like that'll do it for the superhero sides of things. It was a fun year for superhero comics with titles like Super Sons, Iceman, Invincible, which ended in 2018, can you believe that? And other titles such as Green Lanterns, Justice League Odyssey, Avengers Champions, and several others that I just frankly don't have enough time to mention. So if you enjoyed this, please check out my next episode which deals with the non-superhero titles because 2018 was a huge year and those deserve just a little bit of love too. Thanks again for listening and watching, and until next time, make sure to spay and neuter your pets.